If you watch my channel, you know that I first got into wargaming by playing games for years that I did not know were actually war games. That would be two games in particular, the James Bond Assault game from Victory Games, and also the Invasion of the Air Eaters, which was a metagaming microgame. I had no idea they were war games. They were appealing to me on many levels of strategy and tactics and economics and political stuff and the future and whatever. And eventually I realized they were war games, and that was pretty cool. One of the games that I was fascinated by, because it is pictured in this book, this great book from 1977 that I didn't get in 77, but I had a while, was this game here, Invasion America. There's a big map. It's the first picture here in this book. And in fact, the funny thing is the book really doesn't touch on anything beyond historical simulation very much, except the very first picture in this book is of this game, which I have wanted to obtain for many, many years, and I finally did get a copy of it, and I'm going to show you that copy right now. Maybe I will at some other point show you, do a page through of some of the things in this book. It's a cool book. There's actually war game problems in here and a lot of other great art, but as I said, mostly historical simulation, although the first image chosen was of this game that I'm about to show you, Invasion America. I was finally able to obtain this copy of it from the Interactive Museum of Gaming and Puzzling, and puzzles. I'm going to put up their link to their website. It's a great charity organization. They have a lot of games. They have a sale running now over on BGG and maybe on their website, and that's how I obtained this copy. I bought a couple things from them actually, and their shipping is great, and the concept behind the website is cool, so you should definitely check that out. Invasion America is an SPI game from 1976, and we're going to take a look at this copy here, which I'll just say a future history. Oh, you can't really see that. This is one of those big games. I've got it on the table that I just until recently had Magic Realm on, because it's my bigger gaming table, and as you'll see, I'm going to need it here. It's titled here pretty darkly, A Future History Simulation. The time is 0700 hours, 6 March 1997. Invasion America, Death Throes of the Superpower. And again, copyright 1976, SPI. It is, Invasion America is SPI's name for its game on a hypothetical future land war in North America. Trademark has been applied for. And we will take a look at, so this is the SPI flat tray here. I'm going to need to clean it up a bit. It's a bit dusty. I'll show you that in a minute. First, want to take a look here at the back of the box of what you get. Your buyer's guide. The following ratings are based on at least 100 player replies to surveys conducted through Strategy and Tactics magazine. Ratings are on a 1 worst to 9 best scale. Average ratings for over 60 historical games in print are: acceptability is a 6, complexity is a 5. Well, the acceptability rating on here, it's a new game. Complexity rating is estimated at a 4.5, and the average playing time in hours is estimated at 4. And then it goes on to tell you, to give you some examples. So this would fall into the basically the diplomacy category here. And word about the packaging. It's coming in a high utility plastic package. Death Throes of the Superpower. We have a double-sided, it's actually not double-sided, but a double-sided 35 by 46 game map. What it is it's two 35 by 46 game maps. They're single-sided, but it is 2 of them. I don't know how I'm going to get this open to play. Extensive air and naval rules we have. And we've got partisans, hovercraft, and militia. It's a simulation of a hypothetical military assault on the North American continent by an alliance of socialist states in the last years of the 20th century. It tells you what the map is, and in the third paragraph it says we're faced as players with strategic problems, including gaining air superiority over a given sector, and there are different scenarios that they include here, and here is that picture of that map. Now, it comes with, this is a paper map. I believe, I'm sure actually, it also came with a mounted map, and SPI games, at least to my knowledge, typically did not. Avalon Hill did. I don't know whether that was in conjunction, whether that was published at the same time or whether this was an attempt to become something more popular, what the origin of that, or indeed whether there are other SPI games that also had the mounted map. Maybe somebody watching this can tell me, but it was interesting to me that that is the case. And let's sort of come in a little closer here to show you at least some of the counters. We have fairly standard, it's pretty good condition. Here is a Canadian counter, and here's the USA in this kind of green color with our typical very familiar as a sort of classic war game counter. I don't know, maybe this is a railroad here that we have. I don't know what the, haven't really looked at the rules too much, what the infrastructure situation is. Up here we're going to have the, I guess the Pacific League. I can't remember what they are called. So let's actually go to the rules and see what they're called here. I'll put this back on. So here's the rule set and game equipment. So we have was that a railroad? It was a railroad. We've got special infantry. Can you see this clearly? There are some supplies. I'm always interested in logistics, and I typically don't, well, I play some games that have logistics, but the logistics and supply really interest me, so I'm curious about those rules. Now, also, I need to say, perhaps obviously, perhaps not, this is not a solo game. It is, in fact, does it say how many players they recommend? Because it's got 3 coalitions coming in to attack, and let's see, here we have what it says. It's a core level simulation for 2 or more players of a hypothetical amphibious invasion of the North American continent within the next generation. It postulates that the North American continent is being invaded by up to 3 aggressor forces. Oh, so maybe you can play it with just 1. I don't know. The European Socialist Coalition, ESC, the South American Union, SAU, and the Pan-Asiatic League, PAL. Defending the North American continent are the armed forces of the U.S. and Canada, and each separate force has different capabilities and objectives. So, how I'm going to play this or in what manner, I have some ideas about that, but not really quite ready to share them yet. And here we have indication of the counters, and sort of lost track in my mind of what I was quite looking for here, but the supply rules are here. So there's naval transport, stacking, naval movement. Obviously there's going to be water involved here. We've got some zones of control, and we have there's a lot of terrain effects. Obviously we're dealing with the entire continent, and here are the clear, forest, wilderness, a broken hex, rough, urban, supply, tundra. This is great. Love this stuff. Love it, love it. And let's see what else we have. I can show you there's air combat. Special units, the hovercraft is one. We have some militia that are raised, I guess, amphibious assaults, and then we come to the scenarios. So scenario 1 is going to be the 3-pronged invasion, and it will tell you what the order of battle is here, and initial deployment and reinforcements and things of that nature. And let's take a look and see if I can turn the page, what other types of scenarios they have. Second scenario 2 is an early assault. So this, it's land and air, and Scenario 3 is European invasion. I think that one of them is going to be, yes, the inland campaign. So I don't know how those differ, but the Scenario 4 is going to be, I guess, sort of after the fact, and control or seeing who can control the interior. And I don't know what Scenario 5 says. It doesn't actually say anything. There are some rules for, constructing your own scenarios. And here it says what I love to read. Invasion America is basically a fantasy, so players should feel free and competent to construct their own versions of the situation portrayed in the game. Anything goes. Well, I would love to Xerox that and put it in any game I play, because if you watch my channel, you know that that is to some extent my philosophy for a lot of things, and certainly I'm going to be doing this here to make it manageable for me to play. And manageable I wonder about, because the maps themselves are going to be really hard for me to get so that both are open at the same time. And before we go to the map, I'm going to, well, I'll just read you or show you the beginning of the game notes. As a simulation, Invasion America is a fantasy. As a game, it is large, simple, and fast-moving. Awesome. Sounds really, really great. There's a little timeline here ending in the year 2000. The U.S. soil becomes the most valuable commodity in the world. Food shortages and greed are the main factors involved in the launching of a relatively coordinated invasion of the North American continent. And of course, here we go with our design credits, familiar to any of us who play any kind of war games. Now, let's take a look at the maps. Well, you know what? I thought I could do it for you and get the whole map, but I just can't. This is half the map. This is half the map, the northern portion of the map, and it is just massive. And it's taking up, actually, this is my bigger gaming table, the one that I don't really have access to, don't really usually have access to, except in the summer. And that's taking up that whole table. Sliding around here, we will see that terrain effects chart here in color, where we have an indication of not only the movement point value, but the effect on the defending unit's combat strength. So it's going to be definitely a lot to be looking up here, and here is the terrain key. It's a little tough because this is sideways to the map, so I think I'm going to probably need to play. I'm more familiar with the, more familiar with this configuration than this, so I think I'm going to have to play the game this way. We have the CRT, I guess. CRT is here. It's probably a pretty bloody one. I see a lot of DEs up there. And then we've got a turn track, I think, here at the top. Let's see. Yeah. March through, well, let's see, the end of all scenarios is October, and some weather effects that come into play. I didn't pick those up in the rules, but that's good to see. And then we have, this is again just half the map, the second half of the map I will show you. This is the southern portion, and I don't know whether it will repeat the terrain. Yep, looks like it does. Here we go. Man, this is awesome and big. Here we go. That is the southern portion of the map. And yeah, I don't know how I'm going to play with this whole map, but I will figure something out. Here's Central American Extension, as they call it, and South American Union. We'll look here. I guess we are, let's see where we are. Got to see my hometown, New York City. Right here. And don't know what that means, but it's something for sure. It's a supply hex, of course. Middle of the country and the West Coast. So there you have it. It is a look inside my long coveted game, simply because I saw it pictured here in this book that I read many years ago, and really, which interested me in the hobby that I already was playing without really knowing it. And now, finally, all these years later, I got my hands on Invasion America. Thanks for watching.